Alright folks, I just wanted to do a little walk around of my new 1996 Dodge 12 valve manual 2-wheel drive ranch truck. Just picked it up a couple days ago. Haven't washed it or cleaned it up. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little walkthrough, show you how she looks from when I picked it up. I went up to Abilene and picked her up from this old rancher up there, and I wasn't crazy about the idea of getting a red truck, but this one was so clean and I thought a really good looking truck, so I went ahead and picked it up. I think I got a pretty damn good deal on it. The previous owner had passed away and this thing sat under a pecan tree for several years. And one of the ranch hands went ahead and got it up and serviced and aired up the tires. Tires were a little low on it from sitting. The old rancher's wife had decided she was going to go ahead and sell it. So he contacted me before they listed it, and he'd gotten my information because I have quite a few old trucks, and he knew somebody that I knew. So anyway, he contacted me before they listed it. I told him I wanted to come look at it, and man, I am just thrilled with it. I'll see you notice the big rig stack exhaust. I don't know if you guys remember back in the late 70s, Dodge had a truck called the Lil Red Express. And at the time, believe it or not, it was the fastest production vehicle you could buy in the United States. I'm not kidding. It was faster than all those muscle cars. This is right when the government started putting catalytic converters on all cars. All cars required a catalytic converter, but there was a loophole Dodge took advantage of. For some reason, they didn't include trucks in that. So there was like a year when Dodge was able to produce basically a muscle car in the form of a truck, and they all were red. They all had double big rig stacks, and they were faster than any muscle car on the market. They had no catalytic converter, and the interior looked like an old Mopar, like a GTO or a muscle car. It had leather seats, bucket seats, it had leather steering wheel, all the detail on the dash of a muscle car. It didn't look like a truck. And the motor was just a high-powered hot rod motor. Anyway, the next year, the government caught on to that and required trucks to have catalytic converters, and it killed that truck. Once they started putting the catalytic converters on that truck, the hot rod guys didn't want it as much. It wasn't as fast. It still was a cool truck. They also changed the front end and put square headlights on it, whereas the first year had the single round headlight with the bezel and all that. And, it took some of the mystique away when they had to have the catalytic converter on it. Anyway, I think they only made that truck for 2 years, but when I saw this one and I saw that the exhaust on it, big rig exhaust, I was like, I gotta have that truck. My first thoughts were that thing's coming off, but now that I've got the truck and I've driven it, it's sat in my property for a little while, there's no way in hell I'm taking that exhaust off. But anyway, I think I got a great deal on the truck. It runs fantastic. I've never seen a 12 valve that didn't have leaks and oil and wet spots underneath it, or on the frame, or on the motor. This thing is clean and dry, and I just almost can't believe it. In fact, I thought maybe it didn't have any oil or fluid in it. I thought it had drained out because it was so damn dry underneath it. By the way, got the owner to throw the dog in with the truck, so pretty sweet deal. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys. It's still got all the ranch grime and dirt. all the red dirt from Abilene, Texas, all over it. But I mean, I'm talking, the headliner obviously has the typical, the headlight, or I mean the overhead ceiling dome light, I don't know if that's what you call it, is basically what's holding the headliner up. But I will tell you, every light on this truck works. The AC blows cold. I'm missing these two dials on the dash, but I open the console and what do you know? They're in here. Of course, they've got the broken tabs, but I can either put those back on with some super glue, or I'll just get some new ones. But I mean, the console's not torn up. I mean, this is one of the best things about the truck, in my opinion. Got the big rig turn knob on it for the steering wheel. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that doesn't work on this thing is the speedometer and the odometer, which says 138,000 miles on it. I'm sure it's got more than that. I don't know how much more, but to be honest, with the way this thing runs and drives, I'm not sweating it. Honestly, I don't really care. I mean, I've seen these trucks go 300, every one I've looked at has 300,000 miles on it, but this thing sat under a pecan tree, so you got your typical pecan tree debris down in the door jambs. I sprayed some WD-40 on these hinges. They were a little squeaky, still a little squeaky, but hell of a lot better. But yeah, I mean, just a great truck. You know, got a little surface rust on the frame, but you know, they don't salt the roads up there in Abilene. I think they just brine them a little bit, but I climbed under it before I bought it. Let me get this thing open. Let me open this hood up. I mean, you see the top of the hood. It's obviously been sitting under a pecan tree for years. When I opened the doors, when I first looked at it, I mean, you know, got old pecan tree leaves down in there, but overall, I mean, I think she's pretty damn clean. Got your usual, you know, valve cover leak with a little bit of your dry North Texas red dirt and oil, but there's no runny leaks or anything. Injectors look like they've had a little cleanup, a little work on them, but you know, paint just flakes off these things, so I'm sure these are probably all original. The paint's just kind of flaked off. If you guys can tell anything different about what I'm saying, or you want to correct me on anything, I welcome corrections, and I love being wrong about things. So y'all feel free to let me know. But I mean, even the radiator on this thing is in good shape, you know. Some of the paint's come off, but all your blades are pretty good shape. I mean, I could tell this truck was loved. I mean, your heat shield liner and the hood is still in good shape. It is missing that little rubber trim around the bottom of the cowling up there, but I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm just tickled to death with this truck. I'll start it up in a minute, but I just want to kind of show you guys. You know, I just need to get down there. It needs a little bit of love. I'm going to replace this hose. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to adjust the valves at some point. Got this cool old brush guard on it. You know, initially when I saw the pictures of the truck, I was like, man, I'm going to take a lot of that old stuff off it. And I was really thinking I was going to take that exhaust off. But you know what? I mean, this truck is just so damn cool and period correct. And I can just imagine the original owner rancher driving around Abilene, Texas, and these old ranches with his smokestack big rig exhaust. And I mean, this truck purrs and hums. Look at that. Truck came with a peppermint candy, probably from 1997. And you know, one thing about this thing, I mean, see all the usual debris from, I mean, the insides of the doors just sitting out there underneath that tree. But I mean, I'm almost afraid to wash it because I know a lot of the paint's gonna come off. But you know, I mean, hell, considering everything in this truck works, I haven't gotten the radio to work, but I think that's just a common issue. You guys can tell me some ideas if there's a way to get it fixed or if it's just a basket case. But it's got an old cassette player, which I love. My girlfriend's excited about that too. So, and I have a bunch of old cassettes that I got from when my uncle passed away. Some old Waylon and you know, old country stuff. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys. Also, let me go around to this side before I crank it up. Oh, also got these storage boxes. You know, those ranch boxes on the side, full of red dirt from the farm. A WD-40 these yesterday. Got me an old handmade metal handled little sledgehammer, old Craftsman chisel. Sweeten the deal a little bit. I mean, I just think this thing's a big old win. All these lights work. All the reverse lights, all the headlights. I mean, so anyway, I've never seen this before, but I'm not super familiar with these 12 valves. And maybe you guys can tell me what transmission. I don't know if this is an NV 4500, but I didn't know. I don't know if this is a 5-speed, what you'd call a 5-speed, or if this is a different transmission. It's got low, first, second, third, and then overdrive and reverse. So is that what they call a 5-speed? I don't know. I don't know enough about these things. I just got into them a couple months ago and decided I'm gonna get myself a 12 valve. Now I'm actually looking at a 4-wheel drive, an old 4-wheel drive. I like these old project trucks. This one turned out to be nicer than I thought it was. Let me give her a crank so you guys can hear her run. I mean, purrs like a kitten. Jasper likes it. I mean, as you can see, she's pretty good runner. I mean, purrs like a kitten, all stock. Got a little bit of hazing. And one of the coolest things is the way that damn big rig exhaust sounds. I mean, it's hard to tell in the video probably. But I mean, the sound and smell coming out of that thing just makes me want to go to a small town in Texas and order a chicken fried steak, I gotta tell you. Not trying to be funny on that. That just, it does. It makes me want to go to Marble Falls or Goldthwaite or Lampasas, Orlando or Castell, Texas, and drink a beer and order some good fried food, man. That's history right there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me turn on the lights. Sorry, this is kind of a long-winded little video, but you know, everything works. The AC works. All the lights work. hard to tell, but these are all on. Oh, we got a running light. I got screwed on this deal. But I mean, all the cab lights work. You know, I was gonna say one thing that I've got a Common Rail 2007 5.9 4x4 Dodge, and when I open that oil fill cap, I don't get any hazing, I don't get any smoke out of there at all. And I was under the impression that any kind of hazing or smoke coming out of that oil fill cap was a bad thing and you needed to stay away from it. Now, after doing quite a bit of research, especially on these 12 valves, I'm learning that what you just saw, just a little bit of hazing, is normal. I think that's like from the oil or humidity or condensation, something like that. You guys can tell me if there's anything I need to know or be concerned about that. But let me turn this thing off. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Stay, Jasper, stay. So, one thing that I was concerned about was when I was looking at the, actually before I looked at this, I test drove 2 other trucks. One of them, the first one, was just a good running, good shifting truck. It had a little bit of a fuel leak down there by, I guess there's a pumper behind the P pump. There's some kind of filter or something down there, maybe a solenoid. It had a drip, but the guy wanted way too much money for it. I'm sure around here in Austin, Texas, I'm sure whatever he was asking for it, he sold it for that. I mean, it's ridiculous what people are paying for these 12 valves now. But you know, more power to you. That's why I will drive across the country to look at an old truck. That's just me. I'm cheap like that. But I also like to get a great deal. I like to get an older truck that I can work on and bring back to life, you know. So I test drove that first one, which was a cab chassis, which I wasn't crazy about, but it was a shorter chassis. So I test drove that about 3 weeks ago. It shifted great. Of course, the steering wheel was just basically a steel hoop. Didn't have any rubber on it or anything. The seats were a steel frame. It was garbage on the inside, like most of them. This also came with these sweet seat cushions, you know. I mean, that's not terrible. The one on the driver's side, let me show you that one real quick, is like your average, you know. You see the metal frame on the seat. I'm going to go ahead and get some new foam and have these redone, but you know, I mean, but the truck did come with these sweet little old grandma cushions, which I'm kind of tempted just to leave them like they are. I mean, Jasper digs it. Right, boy? So, that first truck I was looking at, it was a good runner, good shifter, had a little bit of a fuel leak. The guy wanted $13,500 for it. And it was 2-wheel drive, manual, 12 valve, P pump. I mean, that's fine. I'm sure he probably got that or damn close. I was never going to pay that much for any truck. I just, you know, I made an offer to him. He wasn't interested, and I get it. But the second truck, we live in Austin, Texas, and if my girlfriend watches this video, I'm going to get in trouble. But she didn't even know I have a YouTube channel, so hopefully that'll continue. But I decided, I had been looking at this truck for a couple months. Not this one, but there's another one up in Arkansas. And it, 4-wheel drive, P pump, manual, 5-speed, flatbed, but it was beat to hell. I mean, the interior on it was garbage. The hood was smashed in. I mean, the windows were all good. I'm sure the windshield had a crack on it. This one doesn't even have a crack in the windshield. So, but anyway, that truck just looked rough. It was a ranch truck. It had been in the family. His grandpa had bought it, and he had used it on their ranch. And this thing, for third and fourth gear grind, the clutch is going out. The motor, there was no hazing, no blow-by at all. And I asked the guy specifically, does four-wheel drive work? He was like, yeah, I've only run it in low, but, you know, whatever. And I asked him about some other stuff. I had him climb under the motor, take photos of it. Also the chassis. I mean, I was a real pain in the guy's ass for about 3 weeks. He took the photos he wanted me to see, of course, but, you know, when somebody's driving